Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Gio, and today we're going to talk about the absolute catastrophe that is Overwatch 2. Alright, so first of all, most of the video that I'm going to be going off of here is more based on rumors and a lack of news from Blizzard Entertainment. So some of this that I'm saying, just a warning, could be unprofessional and could be sort of, like I say, not real. Based on rumors and certain leaks and other things that have to do with the whole Overwatch 2 situation. As long as you guys can take this with a bit of a pinch of salt and just know that this is going to be more on the downfall rather than the actual news of Overwatch 2, then I'll appreciate it and hopefully you guys can stick it with me. Anyways, let's get into the video. Alright, so the thing I'm going to be talking about here is, number one, the fact that as of recording this video, aka on Saturday, you might be able to tell that Overwatch 2 has been sort of not really talked about too much in the whole aspect of BlizzardCon. I don't know if it's BlizzardCon or something, sorry if I'm forgetting the name right now. But the convention, Blizzard Entertainment, aka, which if you didn't know who makes Overwatch, there's a whole convention going on that has to do with all their games, because of course Overwatch isn't their only game, but it's their most popular. But pretty much they want to talk about all the different games that they have, sort of just like a traditional convention. And while this may just seem like a very interesting convention, and it might be similar to something like VidCon, for example, which is a convention that has to do with YouTube, the issue is the fact that fans have been really waiting for news that has to do with Overwatch 2 since the last time it was announced. But since the announcement of it very long ago, there has been zero news. Like, it completely shut off the entire world from any news that has to do with it. And that's the first issue I think that we're seeing here, is the fact that there is no news whatsoever. And there's also the issue where the game has been postponed several times. And what I'm about to say may not be true, considering it's still sort of a rumor, but there have been talks that Overwatch 2 may not even be completed until 2025. And when you consider the fact that Overwatch 2 was announced in, I believe, 2019 or 2020, that's very, very, very sort of worrying and disappointing to know that this game, which they got so much hype for, isn't even going to be in the video game industry until very long. Like, I'm going to be honest, I might be in college by then, and I'm not going to tell you guys my age just because I don't think you need to know that, but it's literally to the point that by the time the game is done, I could very well be in college. That's how long it's going to take for a game. And I mean, I get it. Sometimes games take a lot of time to make. The issue here, though, is I think that Overwatch 2, it better be a really good game, otherwise the Overwatch fan base is going to tear Blizzard to shreds. And nothing against anybody who's a fan of games like Blizzard or the Overwatch community, but much of the Overwatch community can be very toxic and very, very bad. They're not on the level of like K-pop fan bad, but they can be pretty bad, especially on a platform like Reddit. And me, I'm a pretty typical, like, you know, like Overwatch fan, considering you can see in some of my most recent videos where I use Overwatch gameplay. And I enjoy Overwatch more than the next person. We play it for fun. The issue is, while I can be patient for things like this, a majority of their fans, which I don't mean to give a bad rep to all Overwatch fans, but a majority of their fans can be extremely toxic and extremely annoying. So if they want to keep their fans happy, they gotta do something soon. Maybe release some news. All we need is news. Like, not even like anything that has to do with like a demo or anything, just some sort of news, because literally the entire world has completely been shut off from any sort of news whatsoever. And I think that's the real issue that's going on here. And so far, the only thing that they've announced at the very beginning was they announced a new game mode, which had to do with some sort of like pushing or some sort of like tug of war aspect, and a story mode. And obviously both of those seem very interesting, and I'd be very excited to play it. But at the same time, I don't want to have to be waiting until I'm in college to be playing that specific thing. And I know this from experience because I've seen this happen to a few games, but when you make them wait super long, their sort of standard for the game is drastically increased. Like, if you're gonna make them wait this long for a game, it better be a damn good game. Like, for example, if it's gonna take 5 years to make this game, which is what there have been leaks saying that it's gonna be postponed this much, I would expect the game to be a very good game if it's gonna take that long. Do you guys kind of see what I'm saying? If it takes them 5 years to make that game, it better be the best game ever, considering how much time it took and how long they kept it away from the fans. But obviously, Overwatch, they're doing their own thing. They got their own strategy to it, and I will be patient, and hopefully I'm able to enjoy the game before, you know, I have no time whatsoever or anything like that. And hopefully the game comes out at a decent time in a more reasonable sort of release date. Because I don't know about anyone else here, if you're watching this and you're an Overwatch fan, but I'm certainly not very excited about the 5-year thing. The fact that it's going to be released in, I believe, 2024 or 2025, that's really, like, to me, that's just sort of worrying. Like, if you're going to be, I keep saying worrying, but if you're going to be sort of delaying this game this much and then deciding to have no news about it, I can already assume that the fan base is going to be very angry with you and very disappointed and really excited to hear some news, but then progressively get angrier and angrier when they realize that they're not getting anything for Overwatch. And I can understand that. Like, you want to hear something about the new game. It doesn't have to be the new game, but you at least want to hear something about it. But when you completely shut it off, that's kind of an issue for some people. And it's not really too much of an issue for me, but like I said, considering how toxic of a fan page Overwatch can be sometimes, I think it's definitely in their best interest to at least give something. Throw them a bone a little bit. Like, it doesn't have to be something great, but so far, from the only things I've seen from BlizzardCon, and obviously this is only day 2, so things could change, but the only thing I've really seen from BlizzardCon is a thing about the voice actors and the music behind it. I mean, that's interesting, but I don't think that's really the big target here that people are going to want to see. So, again, if it were me, and obviously I'm not in charge of Overwatch, and I'm not able to run a whole team for a video game, but if it were me, I would maybe, number one, not postpone it for the next 4 to 5 years, because then you're really getting their hopes up, and if it's bad, cough cough, Cyberpunk 2077, now you just have this giant wildfire going on the internet about how bad of a game it is and how you never want to buy it again. Similar to something such as the Madden Monopoly too, where everybody wants a refund on the new game Madden 21 because everybody thinks it's that terrible and they didn't want to wait that amount of time for it. So it's kind of the same scenario, and I guess you could sort of trademark it, where teams, or not teams, video games go and spend this large amount of time making the game, but they get their fans hope up way too much, and then it ends up becoming a giant burnout catastrophe where the fans expect too much, the game isn't good enough, and nobody buys it. So honestly, if it were me, I would, number one, like I said, not take 4 to 5 years to make the game. I would at least throw them a bone, like give them some sort of advice, because obviously everybody's going to be interested in the topic, but if you wait too long, it's going to be completely forgotten about. And while we're on the topic, I want to bring that up. I don't know about you guys, but I think that if the game is going to be sort of losing interest at the moment because it's getting no news, do you really think there's going to be any interest left for it by the time it's 2024, 2025? Like, honestly, I don't think there's going to be any interest for the game if it's taking this long to make. Because by then, think of the amount of other big games that are going to come out by the time that game comes out. Nobody's going to need the game. Nobody's going to care. Because everybody's going to be so focused on these new games, they're going to be like, oh, okay, it's out. It would have been a shame if it came out earlier, but now that all these other big market games have come out in the meantime, I don't really have a purpose for playing it. Because in the meantime that they were making that game, so many other good games were created that the consumer is just completely distracted and they don't have any use for playing Overwatch anymore. And I mean, that's kind of not really their fault. It's more has to do with, competition and everything, and obviously they can't control the competition. But at least give them some sort of interest so that they can say, "Oh, hey, Overwatch, I remember when that game was announced and how interested I was. Maybe I should pick it up just to see if it's good." But sort of I just kind of look at it and I kind of just see how it just seems like it's going to crash and burn. It's already crashing and burning now because the fans are getting impatient. Me being one of them, except I can kind of be more humble about it. And I don't really like work up a sweat about it because I got better things to do than that. I'm not going to start tapping on my keyboard on Reddit every 2 seconds if they say something about Overwatch. But anyways, that's going to conclude the video for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I just realized also how my most popular video, Let's Talk What Happened to Dan TDM, has reached 1,000 views. So thank you so much to you guys for that. The fact that I've been able to get 1,000 views on a video is just great. That means that that video did really well, and it kind of just makes me feel good to know that my video's been watched 1,000 times and it was that interesting that people were interested in watching my content. So thank you so much to you guys for that. Also, thanks a lot for 120 subscribers. Obviously, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing, liking, maybe leaving a comment. I really appreciate it, and I'm always here for discussion too as well. If you ever just want to comment, leave a discussion. But as I always say, stay awesome, stay quarantined. See you guys later.